Welcome to War Center.
War Center. All right, we're going to keep that. War Center. Yes, welcome to our first episode of War Center, a series where we go over battle plans that we're going to be playing against each other in the future. And rather than having the list break down and all the tactics talked about in the battle report, we're going to save time on the battle report and have our own episode separately just for this. So stay tuned to this for when the battle report actually releases. We'll have cards that show you, I guess it'll be over here, right above Brian's head. There'll be cards that show you, hey, here's the battle report we're talking about. Look at links in the description. So follow along and subscribe to see the battle report we're talking about. I'm Jared. I like elves. And you are?
I'm Brian. I hate elves.
He does. He does hate elves. There's a lot of off-camera shenanigans that have happened with those guys. So today, I am going to be running Lumineth Realm Lords. This will be the first Lumineth Realm Lords battle report to make it to the channel. More on that later, maybe. But I just kind of wanted to get an idea of what Lumineth Realm Lords played like. So I bought one of every model and it ended up being 2,000 points. So that's basically the idea of my list. Absolutely. What are you bringing?
Well, I'm going to be bringing the Nurgle list. It's going to be the Pestilent Throng. I keep trying it. It keeps failing, but I'm going to keep trying it because I like the idea.
It's true. It's so good, though. Like it looks so good and it plays so well until you get hit.
Yeah, pretty much. But hey, you can't give up until you've tried a bunch of different options. That's just going to be how I'm going to approach it.
It's true. And, they keep getting more rules. Broken Realms is coming out. Stuff could happen. So stick with it this long. It will pay off eventually.
Or it won't. One of the two. That's for certain.
All right. So what about our list? Let's get into the actual nitty-gritty. Let's get into the details. Let's go over the Lumineth Realm Lords list first. And here is the list. Jared here. Now we'll be playing Lumineth Realm Lords today out of the great nation of America. Heck yeah! So for my general, I'll have an Allarith Stone Mage. They're going to have the command trait Almighty Blow and the artifact Mountain's Gift. As for spell lore, this Stone Mage is going to have Crippling Vertigo. Next, I will have a Cenari Cathalar. They'll take the spell lore Speed of Hish. Then I have a Valinor, the Stoneheart King, followed by the Light of Eltharion, and the wonderful man himself, wonderful elf himself, Teclis. As for battle line, since this is a Metrica, I have a unit of Stone Guard. Then I have a 10-man unit of Venari Arlon Wardens with the spell lore Ethereal Blessing, which are going to make a 10-man unit of Venari Arlon Sentinels battle line as well. They're going to have the spell lore Lambent Light. And finally, I will have a 5-man unit of Dawn Riders with the spell lore Speed of Hish. This will bring me to 2,000 points exactly. So there we are. A bunch of elves, one of everything. It's still annoying and still powerful, as we've seen in playtesting.
Way annoying.
Yeah. So with how I have it built, what am I doing? Let me consult my notes, because otherwise I won't remember to say it right.
Oh, that'd be a shame.
Yeah, it would be a shame. I basically have three groupings. Three groupings that I spread out throughout the board. The first one I'll call is my Stone Guard grouping. My Stone Guard grouping is my Valinor, big mountain cow, and the Hammer Elves with the big capes, and the Stone Mage. It's all the stuff that has Allarith in it, and they all hug together in one section. Are generally I run them like my Blitz units. They're going to be in the front line. My cow is going to literally charge in like a bull, makes sense, and just cause havoc in your front lines. Try to tie everything up, try to just cause problems. That's really all they do. And then I have my Venari grouping, and that's where Teclis is going to sit. Teclis is going to be somewhere in the back so he can do his big board-wide debuffs. And, that making you spend 2 command points, you can attest to the fact that it's a terrible rule and a terrible spell.
An awful rule, awful spell.
Yeah, the NPE, it exists heavily with that spell, but I'm going to use it. Sorry, guys. Also, board-wide bravery debuff, just when you can't spend command points to take a battle shock test, and then I dump your bravery board wide and then pick off models everywhere. It stacks up really quick and really annoying. It didn't until I played it. I didn't realize how much that would combo.
Yeah,
but it does.
It's awful. It's awful and broken. So
Yeah, I mean,
to hell with your damn elves.
hey, don't worry. I already have a new battle tome coming out, so maybe there's some changes. We'll see.
I'm sure it'll get worse. That's how these battle tomes work.
Only with elves, to be fair.
All right.
Then my final group, I call it my Eltharion group. He sits with my archers, since they shoot really far, and gets his lookout sir until he can just run ahead. My archers will try to sit back on an objective and shoot things, while my Cathalar and him kind of stay near each other and near my units to suck up their bravery debuff when they use Ether Quartz, and he just kind of runs ahead and does like a mini version of what the bull does, but has less support. Right. And so that's basically all I do. That's the tactics of my Lumineth list. So how about yours? What is your overall?
So I'm going to be running the Nurgle Beast of Chaos list, and we'll go ahead and put that up now. All right, we're going to be running a Pestilent Throng list, another variant. I'm going to be having as my general the Harbinger of Decay. He's going to have the Hideous Visage and the Carrion Dirge. I'm going to be running a Great Unclean One. This one's going to be with the spell Glorious Afflictions, and he's going to have the Doom Bell and the Bile Blade. We're going to be running a Sorcerer. He's going to have the Blades of Putrefaction, and we're going to have Grashrak Fellhoof. I stumbled with his name. We're going to be running a unit of Plague Bearers, 10-man unit, and we're going to be running 2 5-man unit Putrid Blight Kings. We're going to be running 40 Ungor Raiders. We're going to be running 2 10-man unit of Bestigors, and we're going to be running a Mind Stealer Sphinx. We'll also have the Gashrak's Despoilers, since we're taking Gashrak, and we're going to have an endless spell, the Ravening Direflock. Yeah, so that's the list, and it is a bit eclectic, and I'm going to go into a little bit of detail on it. So for the general, I have the Harbinger of Decay. He's going to be carrying with him the Hideous Visage and the Carrion Dirge. So that's going to give him a -4 bravery aura around him. And he's going to have a travel-in buddy in the Mind Stealer Sphinx. I'm using that to get the additional bravery debuff, so it'll get down to -6. Plus, he can pick a unit, and that unit has to go last.
That's the Llama Cat, right?
That's the Llama Cat, yeah. So we're gonna be trying to use that to its fullest. Then we've got the Great Unclean One. I'm going with the build out that has the bell and the bile blade, so that way he can cast a little bit easier and he can increase the run. I figure I need to try and make these guys as mobile as possible.
This is out of Maggotkin, right?
This is out of Maggotkin.
Okay,
so I also have trees to add, so you can run and charge, and and add 2 inches for the movement, and then and he's going to have Glorious Afflictions, which is going to basically have any kind of charge, run, or move, and remove flying. So yeah, he's going to be...
I wonder how that works, because I have a spell that adds flying, then you have one that takes it away. So I guess it's probably timing. Whatever happens, I think it's whatever happens the most recent is what takes precedent.
I think what it is that if it's a Games Workshop, the elves win. So that's probably what I would expect. But I also taking along the Sorcerer, and I'm giving him Blades of Putrefaction. And for the Bray Shaman, I'm using actually Grashrak Fellhoof. He actually has a spell that does a little bit of damage, but also adds 1 to the hit for that unit. So
this is the Shaman from the Beastgrave set, right?
That's the Shaman from the Beastgrave set. So I figure I'm going to use that in addition to Blades of Putrefaction, and so maybe I can get a few more hits in on a model. Okay. So that's the hope. And those hits, if I roll a 5 and now it counts as a 6, it doesn't say unmodified 6 on that Blades of Putrefaction. So
there you go.
Boom. More damage.
And that bonus targets the unit you're hitting, right? Not like you don't have to target one of yours. It's target my unit, and everybody that hits it gets the bonus, right?
Yep. That's right.
Fantastic.
But then we've got just our plain vanilla front line, which is Plague Bearers and Putrid Blight Kings. They're They're just battle line units. I'm hoping that
I was required to take them.
I was required to take them. Okay, I don't really like them that much because Blight King's always let me down until there's one model left, and then he rolls 3 6s, and it's like, okay.
Seriously, every game I've played with Brian, full units do absolutely nothing, and then one guy will just blow up and do 20-something attacks, and every time.
It's ridiculous. But yeah, I'm also taking 40 Ungor Raiders. So that could work in conjunction with the... They're my MVP. I don't care how bad they are, because the way I'm looking at it is I'm carrying 40 of them. They're quick to move, and I can use the Blades of Putrefaction on them. So if that goes off, and I'm re-rolling the 1s and 2s, whenever I fire, it still counts for Blades of Putrefaction. All of those 6s turn into mortal wounds, in addition to their regular damage.
I mean, plus they show up, then get the pregame move, and then just get right in your face and shoot everything. And then once they've done their first shooting phase, they've done their job. After that, it's just whatever happens.
Well, if they just so happen to get locked in shooting on something that's within that bravery cone, you're going to lose a lot of models. So that's kind of what I'm hoping will happen. We'll see. And then Gashrak has to have his despoilers, so we have a few despoilers. And then I'm taking along an endless spell, the Ravening Direflock. So there's already a -6, but I can actually use this spell to set up a Ravening Direflock that has an aura of around it that adds another -2 to bravery.
So we're both kind of trying to pick off a model or two from a bunch of units just to force some battle shock tests.
Yeah, only I'm going to have -8 bravery.
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to have that. I think I'll have like 2 bravery on my elves at that point.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping they all just get scared and run off.
Yeah.
Because my list definitely isn't scary enough to just scare them off on their own. So, yep, that's just kind of a basic rundown of how I'm hoping to play that list.
All right. Well, hey, that's the list breakdown. So what makes that more intricate is how that plays in the battle plan. So we're going to go over what battle plan these lists are playing against now.
Total Conquest. This is a battle plan with 4 objectives, like so. Where for the victory points, you get 1 victory point for each objective you control. And for each objective, the player gained control of that turn that was previously controlled by their opponent. That player scores 1 additional victory point. And if the player controls an objective while there is a friendly leader within 6 inches of it, they score 1 additional victory point.
So we're doing Total Conquest. And I'll put a little deal up somewhere over here talking about where the deployment is. It's on the corners, so a little different than we're used to. It's usually just short edge or long edge. This one's actually just corners. And it's just 4 objectives. They work just like normal. But you score an additional point if you take an objective from somebody. If somebody already controls it and you take it, you get the point for the objective and a point for taking it from them.
Okay.
In addition, if a player controls an objective where there is a friendly leader unit within 6 inches of it, they score 1 additional victory point.
Okay.
So you get the victory point no matter what if you have it. But if a leader's within 6, you get another point. If you happen to have taken it from somebody that turn, me, then you get another point. So it's actually pretty detailed because you may not want to rush to get an objective if you know you're going to lose it real quick, because this one will actually punish you for that.
Right.
Because then you'll get it back, and then they'll get the extra point, and then you're right back where you started. You're not ahead at all. So a lot of my tactics where I rush to get early points, I get kicked in the teeth for in this one.
Which is good. Anyone where your characters get kicked in the teeth, I'm all for.
Yeah, and
bastards.
I'll have to have leaders in the objectives too, so I'm going to have to be more aggressive with my heroes. I guess with Teclis and the Cathalar, because, I mean, Valinor and Eltharion are already running in and trying to get mixed up and everything already.
Yeah, they are.
But I haven't seen the setup over here, but it looks like we have Arcane in one deployment zone and Sinister in another. So there's 2 Sinisters on the board. I can see already that were randomized, so the bravery debuffs are just going to be all over the place here. So looking at that, what are you thinking for your general ideas on deployment without giving away too much?
I guess it just depends on your turn. You definitely want to try and take an objective away from somebody without having your own objectives taken away.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to me that you might either want to fortify your one position really hardcore if you're going to be the last, if you're going to be going out the gate last, and just see kind of what they do. If they spread themselves too thin, then you aggressively attack one spot. But if they don't commit too much, you have to take some sort of offensive on a secondary objective. And then you just kind of, yeah.
I think a lot of wait and see for you on this one.
Yeah, I think so. I like I would say that I'm definitely aiming, if it's just going by tactics, I would definitely be aiming to try and take the objective away from the opposing player. That makes the most sense because you're going to get the most points that way, especially if you bring your hero in to do it. So at that point, you're just trying to see if you can thin them out, either by creating an attractive target for them to go after without jeopardizing too much. And yeah, I guess it's how many rounds? 5 rounds?
5 rounds. Yeah.
So a lot of stuff can happen in that.
Yeah. And I can't remember. Do you have any deep striking in this list?
In this list, no.
Okay, see, that'll change my deployment heavily because I've gotten so used to trying to counter deploy the deep striking, especially with Techless, because if anything gets near him, he folds, and that's real bad when 660 points of your army dies.
Yeah.
But I know I'll likely be a little aggressive on this. My Dawn Riders are probably going to go somewhere where they can speed a hish and get to one of the side objectives in the neutral territories. But I don't want them to get too zealous because if they just take it and then you take it back, then I'm in a weak spot and got nothing for it. So it's very different. I'm going to try to set my archers up where they can just sit on my objective and shoot. That's going to be pretty. That's not giving away the tactics here. That'll be pretty obvious because with the 30-inch range, I'll be able to reach all of the objectives from my objective with them. So really, it's just kind of figuring out how I'm going to mitigate what you do with your Ungor Raiders, because those guys can just wipe something of mine really quick. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, how many drops do you have?
Because it is because it's a battalion, not as many, but still.
Yeah. I have 9 drops in this army because I think the mind games are really going to come in with knowing who can choose to go first here. Sometimes that doesn't matter for me, but this time I think it really does.
7 drops.
7 drops. So you are definitely choosing who's going to be going first in this fight.
Yep.
So there's going to be some mind games early on. So we'll see how that plays out in deployment.
That we will.
Well, I think we've got our list covered. We've got the battle plan covered. We've got our first episode of War Center, named today, covered. Hey, this is fun. I like this better. If you like having this as a separate video instead of being in the battle report and having shorter battle report links in a single video, let us know. Put a comment. If you want to support the channel, subscribing is the best way. It's free for you and fantastic for us. So please click subscribe, click like on the video, leave a comment. All of it helps the algorithm.
It helps the algorithm. Yes, it does, Jared.
Thank you. And yeah, other than that, thank you. Have a wonderful war game.
One up, yeah.
No.